morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's Wednesday, hump day. Don't be a chump day, and don't you ever crump day. It's the 4th of March, 2026. These are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and I'm here with the facts, WTF. And if those facts make you exclaim WTF, well, then so be it. All right, what a time to be alive, right? Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so much happening. I don't know if you caught yesterday's program, but the theme of the day was squirrel. I mean, there's so much going on, and they're not small issues. These are huge, huge controversies and earth-changing events that are going on, and we're being directed from this one to that one and to that one and to this one and to this one, and people all over the world, not just here in this country, but all over the world, people feel like they're standing up in a hammock with roller skates on, juggling chainsaws. I mean, this is where we're at, and I don't care what side of the political spectrum that you sit on. It's got nothing whatsoever to do with liberals or conservatives or right-wing or left-wing or Democrats or Republicans. It's just, it's a level of insanity that most of us can't even comprehend. And although, unfortunately, there are powers that be that are totally accustomed to this type of insanity because that's what they do. Yeah. And so, and with that, I have to preface this. I mean, we've got this advent now of AI. AI can do all kinds of things now. And we have to be very careful about what we see and what we hear. Sometimes you can't believe your lying eyes. But we have to use, our common sense. We have to use our sense of, cognitive abilities, just like I said, I can't even find the words. But we got a lot of, shall we say, fecal matter to deal with these days. Anyway, welcome again to the Wednesday edition of the WTF Reports. And as always, this broadcast is brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. For those of you who have checked it out, hey, then you understand what Tesla said when, what he meant when he said that frequency is everything. And Royal Raymond Rife was able to figure out how to utilize frequencies to destroy pathogens and bugaboos and also to help cells thrive and be healthier. And that's what the Wave Watch is all about. If you haven't checked out the Wave Watch and this Rife machine you wear on your wrist, please do so. Visit our website, TheWTFReports.com, and the pop-up window will take you to an area where you can learn all about the Wave Watch. Check it out, folks, and if you decide to get one, you'll save $100 if you use the promo code REDPILL100. Okay, where do I even start today? There's so many different things. Like I said, yesterday, the theme of the day was squirrel. And there are so many different issues to bring to the table. Of course, the big issue right now is the war. What's going on over in Iran. And I, golly gosh, promise you that you're not getting the truth from the mainstream networks. I mean, stop and think about it. Have you seen any video whatsoever that comes out of Israel, out of Tel Aviv, on the mainstream networks? No, you haven't. They're not showing you what's going on in Tel Aviv or some of the other areas around, populated areas in Israel, because they don't want you to see the similarities of what we've been having to see for the past 2 years in Gaza. We've seen absolute, total, definitive desolation, destruction all through Gaza. Every building destroyed, every hospital, every school, every university, everything in Gaza has been totally flattened. And yeah, people in Israel, they set up their lawn chairs on the beach and watch from afar as Gaza's being bombed. And they even have observation stations where they bring the high school kids, where they've got those coin-operated binoculars, and they take turns watching the bombs go off in Gaza. And of course, then there are people out there posting mocking videos, the poor Palestinians, and they black out their teeth and mock these poor people who are being bombed into oblivion. Well, now, FAFO, That's what's going on in Tel Aviv right now. I've seen some of the videos coming out. And, of course, Israel is basically telling anybody who posts videos will be arrested. So the people who are taking videos and putting them out there are taking a great risk. So, but they're putting it out, and you can see the unbelievable amount of damage that's going on in Tel Aviv. So, and I pray for all of the Israelis out there who have been demonstrating and protesting for years to get Bibi Netanyahu out of there. So, there's a lot of innocent Israelis. There's a lot of guilty ones, too. A lot of guilty ones. But anyway, I know I can't help but think, I remember this phrase, saving Israel for last. I don't know how that's going to play out. But what's going on over there is staggering, just staggering. Let me see if I could, where do I start? I've got a bunch of audio clips here. Well, first of all, before I get into this war, I want to point out something that Jimmy Dore pointed out, and this is real interesting. Now, they've been digging through the Epstein files, and some people are calling this the Epstein War, and it very well could be, because we know that there are lots and lots and lots of very powerful politicians, not just here in the United States, but all over the world, that are being, shall we say, convinced to keep their mouth closed because there's some video evidence that has them in a compromising position. It's called blackmail. Yeah, we know it. But, hey, Epstein. Yeah, Epstein. Listen to Jimmy Dore. This is interesting stuff. They were digging through the Epstein files and found some very interesting stuff about his medical history. Give a listen to this. Again, this is Jimmy Dore's report. Oh, wait a second. Why did that happen? I hate when that happens. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Here it is.
So there's been a shocking development in the Jeffrey Epstein saga, and it's almost conclusive proof. It's as close to conclusive proof, I guess, as we can ever get that he's not dead. Jeffrey Epstein had his prostate removed. And how do we know? Because it's in the Epstein files. Here it is. You have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Jeffrey Epstein. Correct.
Wow.
So he
okay.
didn't have a prostate. Here's another one. A patient, Epstein, Jeffrey. This is from LabCorp. This is in the files. It says after radical prostatectomy, we had a radical prostatectomy. This is from the autopsy of Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Now let that settle in. There are two documents in the Epstein files. One is from LabCorp, and another is an email exchange where it comes right out that he had his prostate removed. All right? So keep that in mind.
His bladder had 5 milliliters of cloudy yellow urine. The prostate is slightly and diffusely enlarged with marked enlargement of the vermilabitanum. The testes are unremarkable. Boy, you don't want to hear that about your testes, do you?
Okay, so the autopsy describes his prostate. Okay, let's continue. I'm emphasizing this because this is really important.
Grok, is it possible to grow a replacement prostate? Grok says no. It's currently not possible to grow a full replacement prostate gland for clinical use in humans. While research has made impressive progress in understanding prostate regeneration and creating lab-grown models, no technology exists today to produce a transplantable, fully functional human prostate replacement suitable for implantation. So no. If Jeffrey Epstein autopsy notes the health of his prostate, but it's known that he had previously had it removed, then he either miraculously grew a new one or that wasn't his body.
Wow.
There's really no other conclusions to be had. I agree with you, Awakened Outlaw. I agree with you. He didn't have a prostate, and the body that went through the autopsy did have a prostate, conclusively proving that that is not Jeffrey Epstein's body that they showed us. Jeffrey Epstein is 100% still alive. I'm going to go with 100%.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's kind of fascinating. Now, I remember shortly after Epstein was supposedly unalived, of course, everybody was saying Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, I remember that somebody had taken a picture of the body as, of quote-unquote Epstein when he was being taken out of the prison. Of course, he was laying on a gurney, and they had, you could see his face. And then they took a side-by-side of the real Jeffrey Epstein, And they did not look the same. The noses were different. Of course, that could have been manipulated, so that's just sort of like, it's just another conspiracy theory. Yeah, okay, they're saying that was a body double that they took out of the prison. Okay? Then, about a week ago, somebody posted some photographs that were taken in Tel Aviv before this whole war thing broke out, of a guy with real long hair and a big beard and two guys that look like they could be security guys or bodyguards or something on either side. And this guy sure as heck looked like he could be Jeffrey Epstein. But then again, could just be AI conspiracy theory. Well, lo and behold, now, according to these files that have been released, Jeffrey Epstein had his prostate removed, and yet the autopsy describes the health of his prostate. So there's 1, 2, 3 different indications that possibly Epstein was switched out. Now, I don't know what to believe anymore. And like I said, 90% of what we're getting is horse hockey, and it's up to us to sort it out. But, as I said many years ago, that when you have one piece of evidence that supports the contention of a conspiracy, it's not just a theory. It becomes a possibility. And the more evidence that you amass to support the contention of a conspiracy, the more possible and eventually probable the conspiracy theory is no longer a theory. So let's just keep that in mind. So Epstein may or may not be alive. We don't know. Okay? But it sure does raise some very interesting questions. Okay, moving on to another subject. Lots and lots of people are pissed off at Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who's back out there calling him the Podfather. Oh my gosh, he's a legend in his own mind. But anyway, a lot of people are saying, hey, wait a second. Why aren't we seeing any arrests? Where are the arrests? Well, there's a woman who put out she was asking the question. And, who's been arrested? Here it is.
Remember last year when Doge found all that fraud in our government? Who was arrested? Mm-hmm. Remember all that money that we found out that went to Somalia? Who was arrested? Remember all that voter fraud that we found in Fulton County? Who was arrested? Remember when Big Pharma pushed experimental vaccines on people? Who was arrested? Remember Benghazi? Who's been arrested? Remember when President Obama spied on the incoming presidency? Who's been arrested? Remember when that pipe bomb was planted outside January 5th? Who's been arrested? Remember that crack cocaine that was found in the White House? Who's been arrested? Remember when the whole world found out that there's elitists that are eating children? Who's been arrested? Oh, and trafficking them. Who's been arrested? Oh, remember when big tech colluded with the Biden administration to censor American speech? Who's been arrested? What about those fake documents that the FBI put at Mar-a-Lago to frame Trump? Who's been arrested? The answer is 0. Our DOJ has arrested exactly 0 people. Don't tell me there's not a cabal. Don't tell me there's not a shadow government. And don't tell me that there's not a 2-tiered justice system in America.
Okay, I won't tell you then. Okay, well, those are good questions. 0 arrests in all of these controversies. And we now know that the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy was never designed to keep you healthy. It was never safe and effective. We know that now. The science is in. Oh, trust the science. Take the vaccine. Take the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy. Yeah, we have to shun all those people who refuse to do it. Remember, they were actually thinking about rounding people up who refused to take the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy and put them in re-education camps. Yeah. Okie dokie. All right, let's see. Moving on to other issues. Guess what? Let's use your thinking cap here. Now, we know that for more than 30 years, Bibi Netanyahu has been pounding the table and screaming about Iran being only weeks away from having an atomic bomb. Yeah, they're developing atomic in 1995, 1998, 2000, 2004, 2005, 2012, 2050, over and over. It's the same story. Iran is only weeks away from making a nuclear bomb. So. Do you think that the Iranians are unaware of the imperialistic actions that Bibi Netanyahu's been taking for the past 30 years? Going into this country, bombing this country, bombing that country, bombing this country, creating all of these different distractions And remember, the Mossad motto, and I'm sure it's the same for the IDF, I quote, "By way of deception, thou shalt make war," unquote. In other words, they are commanded to deceive and to lie. All right, just keep that in the back of your mind, because that's the commandment that the Israeli military has been subjected to. So they are commanded to lie, deceive, and make war. All right? Now, that's backed up because, what's his name? Paul Williams, former FBI guy, he was basically, I forget who he was being interviewed by, but he had the following to say about ISIS. All right? You know, ISIS, yeah, they're supposed to be fighting against, the imperial Israelis. But that doesn't make sense according to this. Listen up.
We created ISIS. I mean, ISIS is no less than the people up in Islamberg, no less than Gulen, is a CIA creation. John McCain, for heaven's sake, was over there with the ISIS officials. It's our creation. We create them. We still direct them. When ISIS warriors are injured in battle, where are they transported? They're transported, for heaven's sake, to Israel. They're treated by the Israelis in Israeli hospitals and brought back to battle.
Well, plenty of the rebels have acknowledged that they've been supported by Israel, and they've thanked Israel for helping them throughout. In fact, arms are oftentimes caught. Israeli arms are caught on route to the rebel groups.
So, is ISIS a creation of Israel? And then we have to ask the same question about Al Qaeda, and then we have to ask the same question about the Taliban. And again, I'm not saying that they are, but we now know. Remember, Tim Burchett last year had uncovered that we're sending, $40 million a month to the Taliban. It's insanity. Anyway, so I wanted you to put that in the back of your mind, and keep in mind that with Bibi Netanyahu saber rattling for the past 30 years and pointing in the direction of Iran, don't think for a New York minute that Iran hasn't been taking notice and that Iran hasn't been preparing for an attack. Now, they hadn't been attacked yet, but they've had 30 years to prepare for it. And in that time, they have amassed tens of thousands of missiles. And yes, some of these missiles have technology that are 20 and 30 years old. Well, you see, they got a tremendous supply of these old missiles. But they also have a huge supply of the newer technology missiles that they've been developing for the past 10 years. So they've been using all their old missiles to throw over there. And of course, the Iron Dome, they don't get all of them. They get a bunch of them. But the thing is that these are old missiles. Okay, they all cost like maybe $30,000, $50,000 to produce one of these missiles. Well, the interceptor missiles that they've got all around to defend Israel, these missiles cost about $1 million a piece. So, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 of the interceptors to catch one of these Iranian missiles coming in. Now let's do the math. If the Iranian missile only costs about $30,000 to $50,000, and the interceptor to catch one of those missiles, each one costs about $1 million, it's not really cost effective, is it? So that means that they're spending anywhere between $1 and $3 million to knock down a missile that costs between $35,000 and $50,000. Do you see what the problem is here? And the fact is that, yeah, Iran has got a snotload of these missiles. And for those of you who have been following along on social media and seeing some of the videos of what's going on in Tel Aviv, I mean, the explosions, and you could see these things coming in, boom, 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 people screaming and going to shelters and stuff. Wow. I mean, so mainstream media is not saying a word about the demolition in Tel Aviv. You're not showing you any of that stuff. So, but anyway, I wanted to share that with you because it's there's an issue about a missile shortage, and here it is.
And now Donald Trump, who had the arrogance to think that we could execute on any request Netanyahu made of him in a few days and then waltz out of Iran again, suddenly finds himself very short on Patriot missiles. Missiles are falling on Tel Aviv and on countries all around the Middle East. This is evidence of a catastrophic lack of foresight on the part of Donald Trump and on the part of Pete Hegseth, who up until recently was a talk show host. This is classic Trump. He waltzes in and out of Venezuela and thinks he can do the same thing with Iran, a country aligned closely with Russia and China and which is armed with weapons that are cutting-edge technology. To be clear, hypersonic missile technology is technology that the United States Department of War does not have.
Ooh.
We don't have that weapon. You think the parameters of that weapon might have been something that Pete Hegseth would have thought about between beers, but apparently not. And for Donald Trump to tell us that he's taking action to keep us safe, when in fact he's opening the floodgates on an unknown amount of potential threats against the American people, he's only doing what he's always done. Trump first, America last. In this case, doing what Netanyahu asks of him without even thinking about the implications. And the countries which we have supplied with patriots are burning through them at such a rate that within days they won't have any defenses at all. At this point, the question is, when will the United States Congress impeach Donald Trump for a plethora of crimes and corruption before he takes all of us down with him?
Wow, that's a good question. When will that happen? Will it happen at all? So again, I remind you, like I said, Iran has had decades and decades to prepare for what's happening right now. And don't think that they have any shortage of munitions. And that's why you're seeing so many of their missiles. They just throwing them out there, 100 at a time. It's not a big deal. Like I said, there's estimates that they have somewhere around 40,000 of these missiles that they're lobbing over there into Tel Aviv. And that's not even counting the high-tech missiles, the hypersonic ones that they haven't even used yet. Well, maybe they have, but we don't know about it. Oh, and by the way, they're not really that dumb either. Because you know what they've done? At their airfields, what they did is they painted helicopters on the concrete, on the tarmac. And they painted, fighting jets on the tarmac. And of course, the Israeli intelligence up there with their satellites, they say, oh, there's a helicopter, let's take it out. And so they lob one of their multi-tens of thousands or $1 million missiles, and they blow up nothing. There's nothing there. It's painted. So they blew up a painting of a helicopter or a painting of a jet fighter. And meanwhile, they're using up all their missiles. So, these Iranians, they're not stupid. They've been watching. They've been just basically, biding their time. And all the time, in all these decades, they've been busy making all these defensive war weapons, rather. And I've also seen some of the missile launch areas. They've got a couple of videos. You've got to see this video of it, what appears to be just open desert. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. You don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, right out of the ground, a missile shoots out. So these Iranians, they figured out how to keep all their stuff hidden. And unfortunately, Israel and the United States, being as arrogant as we are, didn't even think about that. So we're not in a good position here right now, folks. Matter of fact, KenOKeefe was being interviewed on RT. Yeah, that's Russia Today, Moscow's equivalent of CNN. And again, I encourage people to go and get your news from some of the other news networks that are outside of the domestic control of the United States. Because we are being propagandized and lied to the max. And I don't care. Yeah, we all know it already. I mean, yours truly has been screaming about the lies of the mainstream networks for decades and decades. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, they're all controlled by the CIA. Okay? And you can go back to the church committee hearings back in 1975 to confirm that. And so in the past 10, 12 years, we have other networks that have popped up. Like I said, there's Newsmax, there's One America News, there's Real America's Voice. They're all controlled too. So you can't trust any of these people. So this is why I highly suggest that you go and watch some of the other networks that are outside of the control of our domestic territory here. Go watch RT, watch Al Jazeera. So as a matter of fact, Rick Sanchez, by the way, he worked for Fox. He worked for CNN. And when he did not want to go along with the propagandists, with the orders that he was being given by the propagandists to simply follow orders and put this news story out the way we put it, and he said no. So they fired him. Well, RT said, hey, come on board over here. And that's the same thing that they told to Larry King and to Jesse Ventura and Chris Hedges and a lot of other journalists from the United States when they were drummed out of their profession because they were trying to practice their profession of journalism. RT said, come on over here. We'll give you a platform. RT doesn't have to create any lies and propaganda to make the United States look bad. The United States is doing a great job all by themselves, and all of these reporters are doing is reporting it. Anyway, here's a recent contribution from Rick Sanchez in regard to NBC. Stupid is as stupid does.
Continuing in the stupid is as stupid does department, listen to this question asked by an NBC reporter when she was interviewing the same guy I interviewed when I was in Iran, Foreign Minister Arachi.
Sir, if that's a red line for you, why is attacking U.S. military bases abroad justified?
But because they are attacking us.
Sir, why are you attacking these countries? Because they're attacking us. It's like
unbelievably stupid.
She works for NBC, and she's probably really dumb, and that's exactly what they want. They want somebody really dumb. That's I used to work there. I worked at NBC. I worked at CNN. I worked at Fox. I worked with people like this. She couldn't find the Persian Gulf on a map. And by the way, if she asked the wrong question, perhaps one that would lead people to believe that she's being critical of the neocons in the United States, or worse, Israel, she would be fired the next day.
Bingo.
So she either has to be dumb enough to not know that that's a stupid question, or she asked the stupid question on purpose because she needs to keep her job. Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Oh, gosh. And, and again, I challenge any of these other alternative networks out there, to basically come clean and actually tell the truth. And, the whole topic of discussion by a lot of people who have actually been paying attention, we send billions and billions and billions of dollars over to Israel. They've got free health care, free college, they've got free daycare, they got all these freebies. And meanwhile, our country is falling apart. So it's logical to conclude that a lot of Americans are looking at Israel and saying, wait a second, how come you get to have all of our tax money? How is that possible? It doesn't make any sense at all. So let me see. Jeffrey Sachs. Bless his heart. Our country is being destroyed right before our very eyes. We've been financially bled dry, and now our military is completely depleted. You stop and think about how many conflicts that we've got going on around the world right now. Let me see. We got this Ukraine thing going on. Of course, the thing with Iran. Then there's the threat of what's going on in the Pacific with Taiwan. And then there's Nigeria. We're just going willy-nilly all over the country, and we can't afford it. So anyway, Jeffrey Sachs had the following contribution. Here he is.
The madmen in charge in the United States have brought us into this. They are systematically destroying our country as they are destroying the Middle East. It's very, very serious. If you ask why do the roads not work and the bridges not work in the United States, why is infrastructure falling to pieces, why are living standards stagnant or declining, It's because we spend trillions of dollars in war. Trump, let me add, is an utter disgrace to our nation. He lied to us every word about America first. His whole premise was we're not going to do this. And he did exactly the opposite of what he said. He did exactly the opposite of what the American people say. Of course, Congress is dead for all intents and purposes. Doesn't matter whether it's Johnson or Schumer, they're useless, these people. They're all in the Zionist lobby payroll. They have squandered our wealth. They have squandered our strength. They have diverted our attention from our elevators and our escalators and our roads and our power grid and all the things that make life viable for us, our housing stock, everything, to divert our trillions of dollars to this madness that is underway right now.
Truer words were never spoken. And folks, we have to understand that Israel is not the friend of the West. I mean, they've come flat out and said that they have to destroy Edom, okay? And that's, quote unquote, Rome. And they see the West as Rome. So Israel is trying to destroy the West. That's all of Europe, all the United States. That's in their battle plan. And we're going along with it. And I don't understand how these Christian Zionists out there can even, can they even think? Do they know what's going on? And people have got to wake up. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by running to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and on the sponsors button, you just click on that, and it'll take you to a window where it says Get More Tank, and you can read all the specifications and details about how and why this fuel catalyst works. Your engine will run smoother. It will run cleaner. You will have more power. And the moneymaker is that you will save money at the gas pump, because depending upon your make, model, and year of vehicle and your driving habits, you can see anywhere between 15 to 20% improved mileage, which is money in your pocket. This is a no-brainer, folks. It's a win-win situation. So please check it out. Give it a try. It ain't we're not going to hurt. It ain't going to hurt you. If anything, it's going to help you. So please, hey, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the sponsors page, and get More Tank. All right, just about 39 and a half minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in. These are the WTF reports, and I'm Dave vonKleist, and the phone line is open. I'll take your call anytime you want to call in. 215-867-8255. Okay, carrying on the topic at hand, Larry Johnson, who is a former CIA intelligence analyst, and he's basically telling it like it is, too. Here's Larry Johnson.
Iran has effectively destroyed the U.S. military presence in the Persian Gulf in terms of bases that where troops and planes and other material can sit safely. They can't sit safely. So there's no safe space for U.S. military forces in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq, in Jordan, in Syria, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain. Oh, and Bahrain in particular is a real problem for the United States. So the idea that the friendly fire brought down an F-15, it's just not credible. Unless you're saying that the entire friend and foe, they have systems on board the planes that identify them as friend or foe. Now, if we're saying that this one got turned off and then they got lucky and took it out, but from what I've seen is Iran has effectively destroyed most, if not all, of the air defense systems that were deployed to bases like Prince Sultan, Al Udeid in Qatar, and particularly in Bahrain. So, this is, I think this partly accounts for why Donald Trump reached out to, through the State Department to Italy. Hey, call up the Iranians and see if they'll agree to a ceasefire. We'll get the negotiations back underway. Do you think the United States would be seeking a ceasefire if they were winning? If they were crushing Iran? Oh, hell no. If you're in a championship football game and you're up by 4 touchdowns, you're not going to go to the other side. Hey, could we have a timeout and let's just maybe agree to a draw? Come on, it's just ridiculous. So, what Iran has accomplished is it's driven the United States out of the Persian Gulf, and it is now set in motion a chain of diplomatic, military, and most importantly, economic dynamics that are going to crush the world's economy, put a lot of money in the pockets of the Russians. Oil's now up at $83 a barrel. I think it'll probably go up to 150 or well over 100. And Trump's hopes of a economic recovery in the United States, poof, gone. And this is going to worsen the economies in Europe. So what a stupid thing that Trump did. They got forced into it by the Israelis.
Bingo.
And the only one of the silver linings here is Israel's going to take such a beating out of this that its very survival will be in question, I believe.
Yeah. And, there are folks out there that, we're talking about the Q posts and all that, and folks are saying saving Israel for last. Hey, well, maybe that's what's happening. Anyway, let's go to the phones. And caller, if you'll turn down your radio or whatever way that you're listening, listen to the phone. You're on the air. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Okay, this is Ray from Columbus, Ohio.
Ray, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yes, it is, but I listen every day.
Oh, bless your heart.
Just twice. I just wanted to say everything you had to say today, I can confirm because I'm on the Internet every day listening to these things. Mm-hmm. And when you gave Jeff Sachs, people should know he's Jewish, okay?
Yes.
He's a professor from Columbia University.
Yes, he is.
And the other one is Max Blumenthal, and he's a investigative reporter. Excellent. And both of those tell the truth, and they are devastated by what goes on in Israel. Mm-hmm. And then the one you just played was Larry Johnson, and he's multiple years, decades, of the CIA.
Right.
And there's about a dozen, even more than a dozen, of these people that are telling things the way they are. And really, you've got it right. And people should listen to this because this is the truth. And when you get all the information from him and Wilkerson and Freeman, and there's a dozen of them, tell you what's going on from their experience of years being in government or diplomatics or professor or CIA or military. One famous guy is Douglas McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
Who's out there every day, telling the truth. So people have got to listen to this because this is real. And we are not going to win this. This is what they're really telling us.
Yeah.
Because Iran is going to have the long stay. And you see how prices are going up now. When gas prices go up, then everything that's trucked around America, their price will go up, and we're going to have inflation. And as I think from the beginning, when Trump did all this thing, he's led by the nose from Netanyahu.
That's right.
And when he does this, he's going to kill his domestic programs.
Well, it's not only, you bring up some very good points. With the price of fuel is going to start to skyrocket, but it's also going to create not just increased prices, but the availability of the fuel is going to be diminished, which means that all of our productivity is going to drop. Okay, so getting our products, our food, et cetera, that's all going to be affected. So there's a big domino effect here. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, very definitely you're right about that. Because we truck everything, and then heating, and like you say, manufacturing, and people want to start AI, and they want tons of energy for that, and where's that going to come from?
Well, yeah. I mean, so the thing is that that's another thing, is that these Iranians, they understand how to bring an entire region to its knees. And one of the things that is concerning is they target the water desalination plants. The water. If they destroy the water for the entire region, everybody goes down. So they're not stupid. Yeah. They're not stupid at all.
No, they're not. No, they got a very plan because, as you said earlier, they've been planning this for decades. Because we've been. It's 1952 is when we overthrew their czar or whoever it was, and put in our own guy.
Yeah, Shah of Iran.
We've been screwing around with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But one other thing I'd like to mention, if you in Gaza, and it's glad that you mentioned Gaza, because that's the devil incarnate. What goes on there. And one of the 1,000 things they do, that's Devil's Workshop, is that after they drop a bomb or take a cannon and blow up a building or something, then the responders, the first responders, go in there, then they hit it again. They kill the people that are trying to help the people that are injured. And they're now doing that in Iran. They will hit a place, and then they'll wait a while until the responders get there, and then they hit them again.
It's called double tapping. Double tapping.
The devil.
Yep, that's what they do. And you want to talk about the devil? There's now I don't know. Again, I can't trust anything that's coming out. You'll have to use our common sense and cognitive abilities to figure stuff out. But there's a leaked Samson file statement that appears to reveal is Israel's global nuclear strike list. And this was published in June of last year by Terry LB, I think it is here. And it says, and I read, it says, a shocking document circulating online this week, reportedly leaked by Iranian hackers, appears to show a classified Israeli nuclear targeting list, offering one of the clearest glimpses yet into what may be the real substance behind Israel's long-suspected Samson option. The file, written in Hebrew and bearing the insignia of the Israeli Defense Forces Military Intelligence Directorate, lists dozens of cities across the Middle East, Europe, and North America. Targets include major Iranian cities like Tehran, Isfahan, and Natanz, Syrian and Lebanese cities including Damascus and Beirut, the Gaza Strip's Khan Yunis and Rafah, and Egyptian urban centers like Cairo and Alexandria. But most shockingly, the document lists U.S. locations, including Denver, Los Angeles, and the NORAD base in Colorado, as well as European capitals like Berlin, London, Paris, Brussels, and Rome, all paired with warhead estimates in the 200 to 400 kiloton range. So yes, the Samson option is real. Get it? Israel is real. Oh, boy.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's absolutely true. And Netanyahu, many times over the years, when they asked him about America, on one occasion I heard this statement directly from him. Well, it's we will squeeze the lemon for all we can get out of it, and we'll throw the rest away. He has no respect or regard for America.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, America is the enemy of Israel. I mean, they play like, oh, yeah, we're our great buddy. Yeah, we got a great relationship. Shake hands with Trump. Well, he's shaking his hands. He's stabbing America in the back. So
absolutely. That man is, and one other point that people don't mention, and that is survey after survey in Israel, when they talk about the Gaza genocide, the surveys show that 80% of the ordinary people agree with what's going on. And as you pointed out, there are raised areas where people can go in there and watch them bomb and shoot people.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole culture is the devil incarnate. I mean, how would you interpret it any other way?
I know.
Total regard for any principle that you may hold. I mean, the very, very existence of life. They have no regard, and we're subhuman, which is what they point out all the time.
Yeah, goyim.
Gentiles are subhuman, and
Yep.
that's why you're right to call out the Christian Zionists. You're the enemy of Israel.
Yeah.
The Israelis think of you as subhuman, and you're supporting them. What, like you said, do you have a brain? If you do,
really.
try to use it.
Good Lord. I know. Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And, they're lying to us. They've been telling us, well, we lost 4 American service members today, and here's their pictures, and the families are so sad. We lost 4 Americans. Well, you know what? I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a report on Fox that went this way. Listen to this.
Fox News alert, an official source has confirmed that a suspected Iranian drone has hit a CIA station in Saudi Arabia's capital. Jennifer Griffin is live in Washington. Jennifer, what do we know?
Well, Jessica, we've confirmed with an official source that, in fact, it was an Iranian drone that struck the station, the CIA station in Riyadh. It was part of that U.S. Embassy compound, part of that drone strike last night that led to damage at the embassy. This is certainly a symbolic victory for the IRGC. Nobody was injured. Nobody was at the embassy at the time. The Washington Post was the first to report on the incident, and that it was, in fact, the CIA station that was targeted and hit. But what this indicates is that drones, the Iranian drones, are going to be a big problem. They can take out the missile launchers and even the missile stockpiles, but they have thousands, if not tens of thousands of these drones, and anyone can put them in the back of a truck and fire them. These are really the new suicide bombs of the next phase in the Middle East, and they're going to be a problem for some time.
Yeah. So it's not just the missiles, it's the drones.
Yeah, and also Doug McGregor said that he thinks there's several hundred more of our servicemen that have died, and they haven't released that yet.
Yeah.
Dave, you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
And you're so interesting because it's a live production.
Yeah, I'm just...
the way you present it is it's not canned. It's alive.
Well, I'm taking this off...
what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, and I take it directly from the sources. This is why I'm here, WTF, with the facts. And like I said, I try to qualify this because we don't know what the heck is true or not. So that's why I tell people to think outside the cage. So anyway, thank you so much for your participation and your call, as always.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye-bye. Well, you know what, folks, that's something else we need to consider because Iran has allies. Yeah. And guess who one of them is? It's China. Now, China has been sending all of their big transport planes from China into Iran, bringing them who knows what. But I'm sure they're bringing them technology and hardware that's going to help them in their effort to defend themselves. So, and China knows doggone well that the United States, may create hostilities. I mean, I mentioned Taiwan a little while ago. But, there was a statement that came out from one of the Chinese representatives, and we better pay attention. Here it is.
If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot. But China will not allow you to fire the second shot.
Ooh.
If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd,
listen.
One of the weapons China demonstrated is a missile with all the warheads. We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads.
Oh my God.
Plus one hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson.
That's some scary stuff right now. But you know what? March Madness is coming. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, NCAA. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, NBA playoffs. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, yeah, new movies coming out, new TV shows. Woo, yeah. America, for the love of God, will you please wake up? We can't go on like this. And I remind you, in the Declaration of Independence, or the Constitution, sorry, it says it is their right, it is their duty. And you know what I'm talking about. It's up to us. It's up to us. This is a government of, by, and for the people, but the overwhelming majority of the people have backed away from the table. They're non-participants, NPCs as they call them. And this is why we are in the pickle that we are in, because nobody wants to talk about politics and religion. No, it's not polite conversation. I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about the movie. I want to talk about all the crap that happened at work today. Folks, we're not going to be able to pull this out of the fire unless everybody pulls their head out of their... I'll tell you, yours truly, anybody who knows my background, I've been at this for, since 95, over 30 years. The word frustration doesn't do it for me. So I don't know what it's going to take, folks, but one thing I do know, we are in a battle of good versus evil. We are in a battle, if you want to say God versus Satan or Lucifer, so be it. You have to make your own decision, and there is no gray area. There's no fence to stand on. You're either standing in the light or you're hiding in the darkness. That's all there is to it. So it's time for each and every one of you to go look in the mirror and figure out exactly where you stand in this battle. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's installment of the WTF Reports. As always, if you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform, please remember to click like, share, subscribe, and above all else, word of mouth is the best advertising. And not only that, but you can pick up some merch if you visit our website. Please pick up a T-shirt, a baseball cap, a coffee mug, or do some business with our advertisers, because we're on a very, very tight shoestring budget here. So anyway, that said, that wraps it up for today's Wednesday edition of the WTF Reports. I'll be back again tomorrow, God willing. So until then, God bless you all. Stay safe and stay free. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Now.